Okay. Well, welcome. Excited to have you here. Excited to have you come a couple doors away. Okay, let's dive right in and go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Anna Woods, Alyssa's neighbor, and
Neighbor girls.
friend for a minute now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fashion designer here in Los Angeles, and I like creating cool things, cool art.
Yes, you can see from her outfit. She knows fashion. Yeah, we met what? Oh my God, we met 3 years ago, 4 years ago
Mhm.
in the desert for a
Actually.
modeling shoot.
Mhm.
Crazy. So you have your own fashion company, which is amazing.
Thank you.
How old is it now?
So it's two years now. It's gonna be 3 this year.
Oh wow.
So it's been a minute.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
Vixen LA. It's a women's
Ooh.
wear special occasion clothing brand, but I can't almost even say women's wear anymore
Yeah, I
because
was
we
gonna
might
say.
be branching out.
Ooh, you just started a men's line, is that right?
I'm working on a few men's pieces,
Okay.
not an entire collection yet, just because I want to explore what, calls to men, and it's a different aesthetic for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us about Vixen. Like what's the root and the theme of Vixen and where do you get your inspiration from?
Yeah. Well, I will say the root was for women. I wanted to
Oh.
create a brand, that would empower women to not shy away from, controversial silhouettes, being sensual. I wanted them to explore like different unique styles.
Mm.
And the inspiration stems from like different things. Majority of it is from like rock and roll and celebrities. I
Yeah.
oftentimes notice like celebrities really wear, you know, outfits that are so extraordinary because they have an entire stylist team, um, options from anywhere to choose.
Mm.
And they always have like crazy looks. Like even rock stars, they pair like cheetah print with zebra and it somehow looks cool. And
That's
so
true.
that's what I like to do with my clothing. I like to incorporate like metallics, different textures,
Ooh.
um, and silhouettes and just like all smash it all together and see what works, what doesn't work.
I love that. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
love right now you've got rock and roll, but also classy and chic going on, little
Yeah.
combo of things.
So I like to mesh like aesthetics together.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's really cool. I feel like that's
Hmm.
really unique too.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
So you started as a model and then decided you wanted to create your own brand, or was modeling just kind of like something on the side that you did, and then you were like,
Hmm.
I just want to dive full on into being the mastermind behind the fashion of it all.
Yeah, mastermind. No, well, I moved to Los Angeles to go to school. I went to
Okay.
FITM, and I was getting my fashion degree there. But, school is expensive, LA is
Yeah.
expensive, and I needed another outlet to pay my bills. And I started doing a little bit of modeling, mostly like swimwear, and that's how I met
Yeah.
you. But then my social media started to take off, like on TikTok, and
Oh.
I started to gain like followers, and that allowed me to, work with brands, do brand deals,
Mm.
and eventually like fund the backbone of Fix in LA, which was
Wow.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's so awesome. So the
yeah,
goal was always to have your own fashion
always,
company.
yeah.
Okay.
I always knew that's what I was
Amazing.
gonna do. I
Yeah.
just didn't know exactly how I would pay for it, but I knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
because when we met, you didn't have your fashion company yet.
Mhm.
And then when we met again, you had this whole thing built up, which is really,
Yeah.
really cool
Thank
and
you.
hard.
Very hard.
Yeah.
What's funny? It's like they always say, like, oh, once I'm self-employed, life is easy. I have my own schedule. But we always talk about it. It gets 10 times harder because
Yeah.
you're the sole responsibility of
Yeah.
everything that's happening.
Nobody's there to be on your ass or tell you what to do. It's all you. And if
Yeah,
you stop working, all everything stops.
exactly. And it's hard sometimes, on those rough
Definitely.
days, especially like as women, we have like menstrual cycles to get
Yes.
up and work.
It's so hard. Me and
Yeah.
my friend were just having a talk about this last night. How it's insane that it's not built in that we don't have a week off. because
Mhm.
like our bodies are actually bleeding out. Like it's insane. And the things going on and the fact that we have to keep pushing, it's like
Mhm.
it's wild that it's just taken as normal and we don't get any kind of extra rest for it.
Yeah.
So I think, a little questionable. Like it would be nice to have some change there
Yeah.
because men will never understand. Like
No.
it's insane, which is kind of makes sense why we're not given an opportunity to like explain it or to have a chance to like take care of our bodies.
Mhm.
So definitely a challenge. In building your company, were you the was it solely you the whole time, or did you have a mentor? Did you have like
Mhm.
partners or like any kind of help in building it, or was it like figure it out as you go?
Um, it was a mix of everything. I would say so I interned for a designer back when I didn't even go to college yet.
Oh
So I
wow.
interned for her back in Portland, Oregon, and I gained a lot of experience from her.
Mm.
So she basically made custom collections, did alterations,
Oh.
and when I went in to get hired by her, I completely lied and I was like, "Yes, I'm the best seamstress ever. Please hire me."
Oh my
I didn't
gosh.
even know how to
Little
sew
finessing.
really. She hired me,
Oh my
and
gosh.
so I would always be patching up clothes in the back room,
Oh.
helping sell the clothes, and she also did a fashion show, and like she just kind of brought me alongside into that world.
Mm,
And so when I went to school, I gained a lot of knowledge, more so like how to create everything digitally
okay.
and like tech packs, things
Wow.
to send out to like a manufacturer to basically produce the clothes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then when launching my brand, yeah, I had a lot of help from everyone, I would say. Like a lot of my friends are models, as you
Mhm.
know. So they were able to help give me recommendations like, oh, this clothes actually doesn't feel comfortable. Can you have
Oh.
this like, you know, fit it up? So I got a
Mm,
lot of feedback from my model friends on like the comfortable aspect of wearing the clothes and like
mm.
adjusting that. And then YouTube, like I
Oh.
learned how to code a website through YouTube.
Code a website? Get out.
Yes.
Oh my
I mean, I use like
gosh.
the base, like Shopify, but like
Uh-huh.
I wanted to do like a video that would play automatically on the website. So I would
Oh
go
my
on
gosh.
YouTube, be like, hey, how to do this.
That's amazing.
And you'd be surprised you can learn so much on
Yeah.
YouTube.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's incredible though, because I feel like a big like misconception that people have is like they almost think that, or they do think that models are dumb. They're just pretty. They're dumb. And
Mhm.
I recently discovered this. I got into a whole debate with a really good friend of mine who's not a
Yeah.
model. And she was telling me how she feels like, women are dropping out of like essential jobs like nursing and like being doctors and stuff and giving those jobs to men. And so we're losing like women empowerment because they're moving away to like modeling to like make
Mhm.
money and stuff. And I got so heated because I was like, it's not that like being pretty is like a way to escape learning other things. If anything,
Mhm.
being pretty almost like if you use it right, you get more opportunities for yourself. You make your
Yes.
money, you reinvest it into your brain, and then you
Mhm.
learn a lot. And you can't just like, go out and like take a photo and become a millionaire. I think that's a huge misconception
Yeah.
people have. You're constantly negotiating, you're planning your shoots, you're designing and developing
Yeah.
things. So like I think even for you having your own fashion company, you've learned like coding, you've learned business, you have management skills, like running your own fashion
Yeah.
shows. It's insane, and I think like people don't credit girls enough who are pretty. And I think
Mhm.
this idea that you can be pretty or smart is like the biggest lie in the world.
Yeah, they almost like try to divide it, whether
Yeah,
you're one thing or the other,
exactly.
but why can't you be both?
Yeah,
Or if you are
totally.
both, you just don't get the respect for it,
It's so true.
you know?
It's like passed off of like, oh well, she's just pretty, so
Yeah,
of course she got it,
privilege or
which
whichever, which does play
it
a
helps.
role.
It does help.
However, a lot of things you do have to go out of your way and, even now, things that I don't understand for my brand,
Mm,
where I get stuck, I try to hire someone who I know is educated in that field and can do it for
for
me.
sure.
But you still
Yeah.
have to do that work and like reach out. you know?
Definitely. Yeah. Well, and that even goes to show how, like, even like, you said you did modeling to like start investing in your company, and then you're like providing jobs also. So it's like you're hiring other people. So
Yeah,
it's just really being a businesswoman is what it all comes down to.
yeah.
So it's really cool that you do that. So you also just had your first fashion show not too long ago,
Yay.
a few months ago, I think.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank
So
you.
exciting. What were like some of the biggest challenges you had pulling that together?
Pulling it together was the
Yeah.
challenge.
Oh my gosh.
I would say, let me think about it. Challenges. A lot of it kind of had to do with relying on people, I would say,
Um,
aka models. Love you, ladies. Love you so much. But I remember organizing the show, like 2 months in advance. I had these models booked, and you're relying on them. And
yeah.
then night before the show, at midnight, I had two
Oh
models drop off
no. Oh my gosh.
um, for some crazy reason, and I'm just like,
Mm,
shoot, it's midnight on a Saturday.
oh
Every model in LA
no.
is out and about.
Yeah.
Who is going to check their email right now to see if I'm casting for a last minute model
Oh my
where,
gosh.
like the time to show up is 8 a.m. in the morning?
Oh wow.
And so I'm stressing. I'm like DMing all these girls that I know. And, I don't want just anyone.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
need height, I need a good walk, an aesthetic. It's so much
Mm,
that goes into it. Someone who's
mm-hmm.
going to look good in the outfit.
Yeah.
And I remember just like DMing girls till like 3 in the morning.
Oh my
I was already like
gosh.
stressed because I'm like making clothes
Oh
too.
my
Like
gosh.
I'm like dyeing shoes. Like my whole
Wow.
apartment smelled like bleach
Oh my
and
gosh.
chemicals.
I
And I'm
remember
still like
that.
waiting
Yeah.
for a response from a model.
Oh
So I go to
no.
sleep and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna figure it out tomorrow. I
Yeah.
wake up and shout out to Bianca. She was my opener. She responded, and
Wow.
I'll just say like her walk was insane.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
amazing and it all worked out.
Oh
But it's
good.
just like
Crazy.
hard, because you already pictured this one person in the outfit.
Oh yeah.
You have like the styling for them, the makeup. The
Mm.
makeup and hair are expecting that person to show up,
Oh my
and then
gosh.
they don't, and you're just like, you have to really scramble and kind of be on your toes to find a good
Yeah.
match to replace that.
Do you like tailor the outfits to the models that you have for the show too?
Mhm.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, how
Yeah. So
stressful.
it was very stressful in terms of that, but
Mm,
I think that's what makes you either a good designer or not. Like you think of a solution and you move on.
totally.
You don't
Yeah.
hold grudges. You don't get like, oh, I'm gonna cancel this show. The model
Yeah.
didn't show up. No, you just find a plan B, plan C, plan D,
Yeah.
as many plans to pull it through.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was telling somebody the other day because we just had the LA fires,
Mhm.
and I was telling someone that being an artist in LA, you have to be one of the strongest, most tenacious, most resilient people like in the world,
Mhm.
because part of living out here and being an artist is that you have to think on your feet all the time
All the time.
because you don't know if like a fire or natural disaster will happen. You don't know if like a show's going to cancel or a model's going to cancel. It's exhausting. And
Mhm.
I know for performing we kind of have a rule of thumb where like I used to have my own entertainment company, and I would always hire less on talent was still important, but the
Mhm.
girl who was working for me every single week was the one who was reliable, who would always show
Yeah.
up and do a good job and not cause problems. The
Mhm.
really really talented one who might flake last minute, you might get one gig out of me,
Yeah.
but like that's it.
Well,
So
that's another thing you have to remember. Like this industry in LA is so small
yeah,
that even when I was at shoots and I was like, oh, I absolutely hate everyone here, I would shut it and
yeah,
be respectful and kind, because then those you meet those people along the path.
yeah.
And if you
So
fail
true.
on flake on someone super last minute, like without any, like empathy, or like
Hmm.
like you're like, oh, I'm so sorry, and it's just like a
Yeah.
random lie. Those people remember that, and word goes around, other people
Yeah.
won't hire you. Like you will not get
So
gigs,
true. It's so true.
so
Yeah.
you always just have to be cautious of like how you treat people in the industry.
So true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even like in performing, it's like it spreads around so fast and you can get blacklisted so quickly. So being a good person and being a good worker, super important.
Especially in our fields, yeah.
Especially. And LA's so small. I don't know how many times this has happened for you, but just walking down the street running into another artist that you've known for years
Hmm.
all the time. I've started to almost feel, maybe it's like living in this commute, like this complex also, but I've almost
Yeah.
started to feel like it's a little bit of like a college campus vibe, you know? Like I never know when I'm walking down the street in my sweats with my sunglasses carrying a donut who I'm going to run into. And it's not always cute. So,
Those are the days where I'm like, you don't know me.
yeah.
I'm undercover.
I feel like those are always the days I run into people. It's never when I'm looking cute, when I'm like all dressed up. It's always when I'm like, I got my smoothie and my sunglasses. I feel like I've seen you a couple times where I'm like in my sweats with my dog and it's like
Yeah.
not cute.
I'm like, this is a different person you're seeing right
Yeah,
now.
just ignore this. Okay, so you're originally from Ukraine.
Hmm.
What age did you move over to America?
So we moved when I was really young. Thankfully, I was around like 2 years old.
Oh wow.
My parents actually won the lottery.
Get out.
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't know this.
So it's all by luck that they were able to like come here, and I'm so
Wow.
glad they did.
So
Yeah.
was it ever a plan for them or?
Mm, yeah, so it was from my dad's side. His, brothers started immigrating to
Okay.
Ukraine, and then we got the visa.
Oh
And my
wow.
mom was like, "We're going. I want my kids to have, like the best education
Mm,
because that's America. It does provide that,
yeah.
like in other countries, you don't have the freedom to be so creative and to express yourself
True.
like we do here in the
Yeah.
States.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like even this outfit in Ukraine would be considered
A
controversial.
no-go. Yeah.
So I'm very thankful that they took me to a place that is so free, almost too freeing at times.
Yeah, some of the outfits, I'm not one to talk, but some of the outfits down the street can get
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. So your whole family moved out here with you?
Eventually, everyone kind of immigrated here.
Okay, I
I
see.
still have a few family members back there, but thankfully, like my immediate family's here. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't know very much about the Ukraine culture, but is it more like conservative or more like liberal?
It's very conservative, like
Okay.
very traditional mindset. I mean, now the newer generations, thanks to TikTok, are, branching out and are more open-minded. But
Mm.
I remember just like growing up, having holes in my pants was considered
Wow.
inappropriate.
Oh my
Wearing
gosh.
sweatpants to school was like inappropriate by my like traditions.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
especially Slavic women were put on like this like high bar where like you're made to be beautiful, to look
Mm.
presentable, and yeah, you always have to look put together.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Wow. I feel like that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, the beauty standards in like Russia, Ukraine are like another
Oh
level.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Wild.
Which I kind of like
Mm.
because to me, I have this one life. Why not be the most like romanticize it and be beautiful in it?
Yeah, I like that.
But I love my sweatpants days.
Yeah, me too. I could never get rid of my sweats.
You have to have a balance. Yeah.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah. When I lived on a ship in Australia with the circus,
So cool.
they knew I had two modes. I was either like decked up, like all my jewelry and everything, my sunglasses, my heels, or just sweatpants.
Yeah.
No in between. It was one or the other. That was it. So did your parents raise you like heavily with like Ukraine standards like culturally, or did they like adjust really quickly and it was like very Americanized very fast?
Definitely with Ukrainian like the culture.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, my entire food growing up was Ukrainian. I tried
Wow.
probably like Taco Bell for the first time when I was like 12 years old.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, we still had those values. Just my parents didn't even speak English really well.
Oh.
So that was hard, like the
Okay.
language barrier.
Because do you speak what's the language?
I speak Russian.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you speak to them in Russian growing up?
Yeah.
Oh.
Fully
Wow.
all the time. I had a Russian nanny. I went
Okay.
to like Russian like speaking school too on top of that, of like
Wow.
normal school, just to keep those values
Mm.
in my life, which I'm so thankful. But yeah, it was funny when I went to college and my friends would be like, "You've never watched Hannah Montana?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't even have like American cable growing up."
Wow.
Yeah, it was
While you were living here?
yeah, we had Russian cable.
Oh
So
my
all the shows
gosh.
that I know and like laugh about are
Yeah.
like in Russian and no one understands
Oh
except my
no.
Russian
Oh my
friends or Ukrainian
gosh.
friends.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
wild. Did it like I don't know much about the culture. So like
Mhm.
this might sound silly, but like is there a modeling scene in Ukraine or like a fashion scene or
Oh yeah.
okay.
Although it's conservative, like
Hmm.
their fashion is very classy.
Okay.
So like blazers, like they do a lot of outerwear, jackets, fur coats.
Oh.
Fur is like a big thing in the
Oh,
Slavic
that makes
culture.
sense.
I think there was like a trend last year where like they had the fuzz like the big fur
Yes.
hats.
Yeah.
That's from my culture.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
cute. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Super cute
Yeah, because
fashion
it's
going on
really
over
cold
there.
in Ukraine.
Yeah,
So
like snows and everything. Right?
they're very glamorous. It's
Mm,
never I wouldn't say it's ever like punk rock. It's always just very
okay.
glamorous, luxurious.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, a lot of layering.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I definitely incorporated some of that into my fashion, but
Mm,
I think LA and just me traveling to other places really like influenced my aesthetic.
that makes
Because
sense.
I'm
Yeah.
more of like a grunge,
Yeah. 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 That makes
grunge leather type of
sense.
girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I try to
You got
incorporate
the mix
some
of both
mix of
going
both
on.
worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like something that I really realized when I lived in Miami was that LA is very grungy. It's like I feel like rock and roll really is kind of like one of the bloodstreams of LA that kind of keeps it alive.
Mhm.
Because if you think about it, I don't really know anywhere else in the world where like rock and roll is very prevalent still. You
Maybe New
know?
York.
Okay.
Maybe New
That would
York.
make
Is New
sense.
York? I
I
think so,
haven't been
right?
to New York City, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't really
I
know.
would say they're pretty grungy there too.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
could see that for sure.
What really influenced like this year, like even the fashion show, I went to
Mm.
Milan for the first time
Oh.
and the fashion there is insane. It's like techno. It's like this. So it's like
Oh.
techno combined with classical like silhouettes. And
Really?
it's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Oh
Like,
my gosh, how
yeah.
cool. That's fun.
And so I really enjoyed that aesthetic and like I
Yeah,
try to bring it back here.
I love that.
Mhm.
Because I wasn't able to go to your fashion show, which I'm still so bummed about.
Next one.
Next one. Do you have like an element of like kind of a kink element to your
Mhm.
shows? What's like the inspiration behind that?
Yeah. So I guess it ties back into the core values of Vixen LA, which is to empower women, bring
Mm,
out your sensuality.
mm,
And to me, I guess like I am a sensual person and sometimes like I think people like shy away from kinks, shy away from
for sure.
fetishes, they shy away from wearing revealing clothes.
Mm,
They're scared to like be sexy.
yeah,
And I think
totally.
I am trying to bring that back in and yeah, just having like a little bit of fetish in my like clothing
Love
or
that.
the performance is a key, I think.
Yeah,
It's entertaining too. It's entertainment.
that's true.
I don't want it
Yeah.
to be boring. I want people to go to the show and be like, "What?"
Yeah.
But in
Yeah,
a good way, not like what I'm
definitely.
traumatized,
Yeah.
as in what this is
That would
sick.
be bad. Yeah, because I think I saw a video. You had a girl walking a guy on a leash,
Mhm.
right? Very
That was so
cool, very
Bianca
fun.
was
Oh, she was the opener,
yes, she was the opener.
walking her dog man.
The dog man.
Oh my gosh, so fun! That's so cool. What like I know you said you have some like other things you're planning for your next one,
Mhm.
like rope tying and stuff. Is that right? Or did I
No,
make that up?
for that was actually a part of the show. We
Oh,
had
okay. That's
Ashley,
funny.
Blue Ropes. He like tied her with the ropes and like they did like a
Oh,
performance,
oh my gosh,
which was
fun.
dope. I think for this upcoming one,
Hmm.
I want to play with more so like bondage, but like I don't know the word for it. It's like a fetish when like you can't breathe. Not choking though.
Oh,
like latex, like when you're fully covered, you know?
I don't think I know like the word
You
for
guys
it,
will
at
see
least.
it
Yeah.
when you see it.
You're
I don't
gonna
want
have
to
to go follow
I don't
her.
want to spoil it, but it's going to be
I'm
something
curious now.
it's going to be something unique.
Okay, but no choking.
No
That's
choking,
a
more like
bummer.
suffocation,
Okay.
but like tamed.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
with like a
I like
performance
that.
piece. Yeah.
Okay. So cool. That's
Yeah.
something I'd very much so be into.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Well, and I think that's a big thing that has made us friends is kind of the contrast of having the classy but also the grunge. And I feel like
Mhm.
that's not a lot of like a lot of women don't always like a lot of classy women don't always have like the added grunge like edgy kind of layer to them also.
I think they do. They just hide it in the bedroom.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I'm just more vocal about it, I guess.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you're like obviously like a very strong independent woman. You got your own company, you make your own money, like you're put together, you have your shit together.
At times.
At times, fair enough, don't we all? Or you appear to. You
Mhm.
appear at all times too, whether you do
Yeah.
or not. Um, do you like how do you see I guess I have like a couple of questions going off of
Mhm.
this. How do you see like men's role in your because there's some women out there who are like women need to rule the world, we don't need men anymore, but
Mhm.
then like also there's other women who still want a strong man,
Yeah.
and I feel like maybe in our culture in our generation we're losing a lot of like the strong male presence. It's
Mhm.
and then we also have the extremist side of like the um like supremacist
Yeah.
rapist men who are also like an over extreme. I feel like they're almost
Yeah.
overcompensating like the rise of femininity. So like you being like a very
Mhm.
strong woman, how do you see like men's role in society? How do you see like do you
Yeah.
feel like you need men? I guess for
Yeah.
lack of
I
better
honestly
words.
think like a lot in our generation, like you were saying, like a lot of men aren't as masculine as they used to be. And I think that kind of ties to extreme feminism, where
Yeah.
if we're shouting, oh, well, we don't need men, we hate men, what are they going to do with themselves? They're
Yeah.
not going to be men.
Yeah.
They're going to become
Definitely.
more feminine because we're provoking them like when you
Yeah.
poke
Yeah.
at something long enough, you're going to poke it.
Yeah. Totally.
And so for me, like I think both genders have so much to offer and such different unique roles
Mm.
that for me, although yes, I am like dominant and masculine in my work setting, when I go back to my family or go back to my home, I want to be in my feminine
Yeah.
energy.
Definitely.
I want to have that safety and just that care a man can provide for women to be in my
Mm.
life, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So I think it's important to have that balance
For sure.
for of a man in your
Yeah.
life. Yeah. What about
Yeah.
you?
I mean, I definitely agree. Like, I feel the same. Like, I'm very, very much so a go-getter when it comes to
Mhm.
work. And I do love making my own money. And I have been married before. And,
Yeah.
I was making more of the money. Um, but he was in control of the finances, which,
Mm.
I have a business degree.
Yeah.
I think he maybe got his college GED, and I was like, "What are we doing here?" Like,
Yeah.
we would probably be further along if you took some of my input.
Yeah.
And so I think like but there's things that I'm not good at, like
Yeah.
a lot of like my guy friends will help me out with investing. There's a lot of things I don't know about
Mhm.
investing, and they're always researching it. I don't listen to everything they say, but they'll give
Yeah.
me tips and stuff that I wouldn't really know otherwise, because I think
Mhm.
there is a big gap in male financial education and female financial
Oh,
education.
100%.
And
Yeah.
I think I think a lot of times too, like I even asked my dad once. I know he always kind of talks to my brother about financial things,
Mhm.
never talks to me about them. And I asked him once,
Yeah.
like, do you have any tips? And he was like, nah, you don't need to worry about that. And I was like, but I do,
Yeah.
I like, because living on my own, so like I have to
Mhm.
take care of it. So I guess tying that all around, I kind of feel like, I mean, I still think men are very essential. I think there's something
Mhm.
beautiful about a chivalrous man who opens the doors and treats you like a lady.
100%.
I think men and women have strengths and weaknesses, and there's so many ways that we can balance each other out and partner together.
Yeah.
And like, I'm a very big, like, you know, even though I'm like a strong, independent working woman, I'm a very big, like, I want a man to be a man.
Yeah.
And that's like a big reason for me why, like, I don't like dating very soft or gentle men because
Yeah.
I'm strong.
Yeah, I don't wanna overpower them. I need
Exactly.
someone to overpower me,
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
know?
In a
And not a
non-controlling
controlling
way,
way.
which like is very possible. I think as I've
Yeah.
dated healthier men, I've seen like it's very possible for a man to be a leader and to
Mhm.
guide without like ruling with an iron
'Cause he
fist.
has to have that respect for you. It all
Yeah,
stems down to that. If he
exactly.
respects you,
Hmm.
he won't wanna control you. He's gonna wanna lead you. He's
Exactly.
gonna wanna
Yeah.
be, like, the backbone to your success,
Yeah.
you
And he'll
know?
see that you add value and
Yeah.
he'll want that to be a part of it to contribute.
And maybe he will give you financial advice and invest for you because he wants you to succeed.
Yes, exactly. That's my dream.
Yes.
But or to, teach me too.
Mhm.
I think it's maybe this is my daddy issue complex.
Don't we all have daddy issues?
Yeah, seriously. But I get really attracted when like a man can teach me something.
Same.
Like, because I already know a lot of stuff, but like if
Mhm.
you can not only like I hate mansplaining because most things I hate like when a man comes up to me in the gym and is like, "Hey, you need to do it like this." Did I ask you?
That's happened to me before, and I'm like,
right? It's
"Let
so annoying.
stop it."
It's like one thing if like you're working out together and like he gives
Mhm.
you like he's your boyfriend or something, but if it's like he just comes up to you in the gym, I hate that. And it's a guy you don't know,
'Cause it's not teaching, it's trying to prove a point that you're wrong and I'm right.
Exactly. And to me, that's already like, you've already shown me some kind of level of
Mhm.
control. So, like, if you're about to ask for my number, absolutely not.
Walk away before it's too late.
Goodbye. Get out. Yeah. I will make a scene. So,
Mhm.
but when a man can, like, when I respect a man enough, when I see, like, he has figured out something that I haven't and he
Yeah.
imparts knowledge to me so I can do it for myself, I find that so attractive.
That's, like, my favorite thing, when a man can
Ugh,
teach me something
so
new, I'm
attractive.
like, "Whoa, he's smarter than
Yeah,
me?"
yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah, I
I
feel like
love that.
same. I think it's so attractive when I feel like you can intellectually beat me, but in a way where you're not belittling me, you know?
That.
In a way that, like, when you teach me in a way that you see that I'm smart too, and I can
Mhm.
pick up what you're teaching me and like apply it. Like,
Yeah.
it's a very attractive thing.
Men, take notes, take
Take
notes.
notes. This is golden.
Golden.
So that's what always like blows my mind about like trophy wives, how it seems they're content to do like nothing, you know.
Yeah.
I went on a date once with a guy who dropped 5K on me on the first date, and
What's his number?
I'll pass him to you. He didn't work out for me. So, but he made a comment about how like one day I can retire and just like sit at home and he'll give me the money to start my own business. And I was kind of like, I didn't like that. Maybe if it was my idea, but I felt like the fact that he was like telling me to do it, especially on a first date,
That's crazy.
I really didn't like that. It did not sit well with
He
me.
doesn't even know you on a first
He doesn't
date.
even know me. You don't even know if I have the money to fund my own business. Like,
Yeah.
why do you just automatically assume I need you to do it for me?
Hmm.
And why are you assuming I want to quit my job also? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Things like that don't sit well with me. So
Yeah, no.
it's a tricky thing. So what's your end goal because, you know, you have a fashion company. I'm
Hmm.
assuming you want to grow that.
Yeah.
Do you see like having a family, like being a part of that also?
Hmm. Of Yeah, I mean, I guess I have a lot of goals in life.
Which is good.
With Vixen, I would love to, like, my dream would be to have a fashion show in Milan. But
Mm,
for that, you know, it's like practice. It's like
for
practicing in
sure.
LA, doing shows in New York,
Yeah.
maybe Miami, just to get to that level where I'm respected enough as an artist to showcase like with the bigger brands in Milan, because I feel like Milan and just Europe in general is like the new American dream for me.
Yeah.
um, so that is one of my biggest goals. I would love to be in retail stores.
Um,
You know, I try and I branch out, but it would be great to find a mentor who's in fashion that could give me a word of advice
yeah, for sure.
and yeah, try to try to teach me. I feel like
Mm,
oftentimes in our field, not everyone likes to share exactly, like they share like you know everything what everyone else knows, but they
mm,
don't like to always share
their
like, oh,
secrets.
this was the key to my success. And it would be cool to find like a network or a community of women or even men who could share some insight into that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
You had said earlier too how your brand is like very sensual and it's meant to
Hmm.
empower women. Do you think like do you feel that in this day and age like women have a lot of difficulty like expressing that part of themselves?
I think yes, especially with social media now. I think, you know, you might look gorgeous in a bikini and you're on vacation and you post this video because you worked so hard on your body
Yeah.
and you're having a good time on vacation, you post it and then all of a sudden you get some hate. Oh, you're doing this for attention, or you're doing this. Why can't you just post it because you want to post it?
Yeah. Because you
Why
just
does
felt
there
good
have to
about
be an end
yourself.
goal? Why does there have to
Yeah,
be an end goal? Oh, I did this. Maybe you did do it for
definitely.
attention. And so what?
Yeah. Who cares?
Appreciate it, you
Yeah,
know? And if
it's
you
true.
really don't like it, unfollow. But I
Yeah,
think for women now, we get a lot of hate for being like too sexy
for
or
sure.
for posting like a lavish lifestyle. People always want to hate on you for it.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, so I think there is some sort of weird thing with social media and
definitely.
trying trying to be a woman on it.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
so true. It's really interesting because, you know, I've been doing a couple episodes of these and I've been posting a lot of reels
Mhm.
and they have been starting to pop off on TikTok. And I posted one recently about how in Hollywood you get, you know, you get men in power who try to get like younger girls or younger boys who are trying to make it to do like sexual favors for them.
Mhm.
The comments I got on this video blew my mind
Oh my
because in
gosh.
my head, we're past this. Like, we all
Yeah.
know this is wrong and it shouldn't be done, period.
Yeah.
That just seems like logic to me.
Yeah.
The comments were all men, all saying, like, somehow it's not her fault. Well, if you didn't want the role that bad, you shouldn't have done it. There was another one, I can't remember, but just
Mhm.
all blaming the woman for it, which
Yeah.
blew my mind and made me realize like I think almost this screen, the protection of being behind a screen, has empowered some lonely men to be very rude and to
Yeah.
tear women down. And it's a very like interesting time right now where women have really risen up a lot in the past
Yeah.
century, and then we almost had our first woman president, and now we don't, which I'm not putting politics into this, but it is interesting that there is like a very strong like re-rise of like men putting women down.
I feel like women have always been put down by men.
True.
Think about it. Women couldn't even go to college
Yeah,
until how many years have went by until women finally were able to even attend college?
it's insane.
They didn't want us to have education.
Mm,
I mean, the healthcare system was created by men for men,
another reason why we don't
you
have rights for our
know,
periods.
exactly. So many, they've always kind of been our haters.
Yeah,
Not all men, just like
for sure.
the majority combined.
Hmm.
So now I think that women are trying so hard to show that we have value to
Yeah,
society and are not just like a pretty face.
yeah,
They have a hard time like responding to that, maybe. I'm not
yeah,
sure. Like they see our success and they're intimidated by it. They're almost
yeah.
wanting to compete with us instead of
Instead of work with
reproducing
us.
with us.
Yeah.
They want to hate on us instead of reproducing, like, you
It's
know?
so true. Well, and I think that's like a reason too why being a successful independent woman, it can be harder to date, is because I think
Yeah.
men are scared of women they can't control.
Yeah.
Whereas like a easy to control little wife is simple for them. But it's so
Yeah.
sad because I feel like it almost cuts both of our potentials. It
Yeah.
it really stops like the growth of what men and women can be as a unit together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it goes back to what we were saying about how, both have strengths and weaknesses and can like value and respect each other.
Yeah.
So I think it's funny because I think we've seen a lot of men becoming very like weak almost, where
Yeah.
they I like sometimes I feel like, wait, am I supposed to buy you flowers? you know
But I almost wonder if I think it is to do with social media. Social
yeah,
media allows these, you know, vicious people to hate on women. It creates a
mm,
trend for men
mm-hmm,
to keep hating on women,
yeah,
but it also creates a trend with women who are hating on men, like, oh, you're not masculine
yeah,
enough, you're not doing this,
true,
you're not doing this, you know? And if
mm-hmm,
you're always telling someone this is everything that's wrong with you, you're going to
yeah,
become what that
it's
is.
so true, it's so
And same
true,
with women, like
yeah,
you're going to tell her, oh, you're too sexy, you're
yeah,
controversial, you're unladylike. She's going to become unladylike.
it's so
And she's
true,
not even going to want to date a man.
yeah, yeah, that's so true,
She's going to, so yeah, I think social media just allows for a lot of hate to flow
it does,
and
yeah.
it makes trends that are hateful.
Yeah, yeah. It's like everything that was
Yeah,
already there just like brought to the surface
brought
in
to the
our
surface.
face
Exactly.
every day, every time you open
Yeah,
your phone, which is it's scary and it's sad.
yeah.
But I think that's where, the cool thing is too, it's possible to bring like to influence it the other way too.
Oh,
There's a lot
100%.
less of it. And
Yeah,
and that's like the goal of this podcast, is to get like more positivity back out there of like there's strengths and weaknesses for both men and women,
yeah.
and it's better to like celebrate the strengths of both sides and like
Mm-hmm.
bring up like we do like strong men. We do
Yes.
want a man to be a man. Like we want you to work and to like buy us flowers. It's like a guy told me the other day,
Uh-huh.
he came up to me and he was like, Alyssa, I'm not going to be a simp anymore. And I was like why? I'm not
Yeah.
saying you should like be a simp and worship someone, but like if you're doing sweet things for a girl, like why are you telling me you're going to stop doing that? I'm not going
Yeah.
to like pat you on the back. Like why?
Right?
And I think sometimes, a lot of times, I think men get really lost and confused. Like I think they don't know what they're supposed to do. And so
Yeah.
they act like they don't have feelings. But I actually find like I'm very attracted when a man is not emotional, where he's like crying all the time or like always
Yeah.
angry, but when he expresses like how much he cares about me, or expresses that he's having a hard day.
Yeah.
I find that very attractive.
Yeah.
And I think men have this idea now where it's like you have to act like you don't have any feeling. Like what is it? Alpha male or something?
Mhm.
The alpha male doesn't have feelings.
Well, it ties back to these freaking podcasts that are going on
Yeah.
social media that are teaching
Yeah.
these men these crazy ideologies, and you're just like,
It's
no, I
so
don't want to be
true.
ghosted, actually.
It's so yeah, this
Can
like
you please respond
toxic.
to me?
Yeah, no. I think we've talked about this before, how like ghosting makes you really hate somebody. Don't do that.
Don't do it.
It's not cool. Like you were doing so good before. Why are you changing up the game?
And ghosting shows lack of maturity. Like, if
Yes, yeah.
you can't, as an adult, if you can't communicate, you just don't like them.
Yeah.
You don't have any growth as a human being. Like,
No.
it's not that hard to text someone the truth
Yeah.
of
Just
how you feel.
say what the issue
And if the other
is,
person freaks out on you, you can then ghost them. But at least you said what you want to say, and that's it.
and that's it. Yeah, I feel like communicating how you feel is it's so essential.
Yeah.
It shows a lot of maturity. And I used to hang out with a lot of toxic men way back in the day. And I kind of picked up, I was like, well, they can just not care and fuck other people. So I should be able to. Or they can just like not respond. So I'm going to do that. And I almost started taking on toxic masculinity traits from
Ooh.
these toxic men. And then I started doing the same thing where like I'd be like, well, he's probably fucking other girls, so I'm just gonna fuck other guys, you know? And then I
Yeah.
actually started hurting other guys who weren't doing that to me.
And it's like
And
a
then it's a
cycle.
cycle. It's a terrible cycle. And it actually wasn't until I was like trying to be better for myself because I wasn't happy. I didn't get
Yeah.
more love. I didn't feel better about myself. I felt worse.
Mm.
And I like got involved with someone who really did me dirty, and
Ooh.
that was like a really big wake up call. And I was already trying to be better, but after that, like it made me realize, because I could have gone two ways. I could have been like,
Yeah.
well, they did me dirty, so now I'm really going to do everybody dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Or the route that I chose was, you know what, I'm going to keep going down this route that I'm trying to change, where I'm just going to lead in love, and I'm going to love
Yeah.
myself and take care of myself and not give that much away too early ever again. But I'm
Yeah.
still going to lead in love and just like give my excess love away to people
I love
and
that.
like take chances on people and just, you know, kind of date one person at a time, love one person at a time, get to know one person at a time, and just be the change. Because if I am choosing to be that way, regardless of whether the other person is or
Mm-hmm.
not, then there has to be someone else out there who's the same.
Yeah.
And so, and that's a big reason too why I believe like, you know, you can't like judge a person by what they do or who they are, who they seem, because
Yeah.
people judge me all the time and say like, oh, you're a burlesque dancer, I can't date you. And it's like, okay, you're lost.
Yeah. You're
But
lost.
like, you don't know it, but like I'm the most like loyal, loving person. And I think that if we just start leading in love, being those people, treating
Mm-hmm.
people as that, communicating well, it
Yeah.
will, God willing, bring about change.
I think like what you said, like leading with love, like not just with relationships, like with
Mm,
work, with
yeah,
everything you do
so true.
is like essentially what we're here for.
Yeah,
You know, why are you
definitely.
on this world? Like, okay, yes, you can make a lot of money. That will go away when you're dead.
Yeah,
But if you lead with love, you'll leave a mark in someone's heart, you know, and that's like
yeah,
what's the beauty in it.
yeah, definitely. I think like you
And
even said yourself how you can work a job and there's like a model you don't like, but you just
mhm,
you let it go and you do the
you
job
let
and
it
like
go, you're nice, you
yeah.
smile on the outside.
Yeah. Just
And
don't
you know,
cause
who
any
knows?
problems.
Maybe
And
she'll be so appreciative of how you treated her in a moment
so
where they were
true.
disrespectful. They'll be like, wow, I need to change.
It's so
And you
true.
create a positive
Another, yeah.
cycle,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
That's what we want. That's what we're bringing about.
Yeah.
Hopefully, one person at a time.
One person at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go ahead and open it up now. Do we have any questions from our production team?
Yeah, I was going to ask, how has it been originally being from the Ukraine and having a Ukrainian background, and then now living in Hollywood, where there are a lot of like Russian and Ukrainian. How's it been just being like basically like you're an American girl just dealing with more recent immigrants, or how's like the vibe in general with the community?
Oh, of like the recent immigrants?
Just yeah, or just the or just other immigrants in general.
Other immigrants in general. I think
Yeah, not just from the war,
yeah.
but just like
I will definitely say LA is a special place. So we
Mm,
originally moved to Washington, and you know, in smaller cities, even as immigrants, everyone is very like scared. Like you don't want to break the law, you're scared to stand out, especially coming from like Soviet Union, like
yeah.
you'd be prosecuted for being different, you know.
Wow.
And so I think the immigrants that come to LA, they don't they're very they're risk takers. They already know what it's
Mm,
like to, you know, feel danger in those like countries. Like for being different, but they know when they come to LA, they can be different. And so the ones that I meet here are very open-minded, I noticed, very outgoing, creative, and they don't shy away from anything is what I noticed, the ones that are here. And they like do anything to achieve their goal. Like,
Wow.
they're very ambitious. Meanwhile, the immigrants that I met in other states, I will say, they're more timid, reserved, just because they still have that mindset that if they're different, they're gonna get in trouble for it.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's a
the
lot to
ones
live
here, I
with.
think they know that this is a safe space to
Yeah.
go out of their comfort zone, even for you, like,
Yeah.
right? Like,
It's so yeah, because my dad's from
yeah,
China, so it's
yeah.
communist, like very, very
Mm-hmm.
similar, like, and just the way that you're raised as a child, it's like y- you're not allowed to have a voice. Like you do
Yeah.
what you're told or you're yelled at. You still do what you're told, you're still yelled at, you're always getting yelled
Mm-hmm.
at, so just like keep your head down and be invisible
Be
basically.
invisible. That's it.
It's
Yeah.
huge. And I think that's a big reason why, like when our city was on fire, there was such a strong sense of community. Because
Mm-hmm.
everyone's always talking shit on our city, and like it is dirty. Don't get me wrong. There are a lot of homeless people. Like there are just gunshots going on all the time.
Yeah.
But like it is such a rare place where there is such a like for a place where there are gunshots going off all the time. It's such a safe place because it's to this day probably the only place where I've ever been. And I just feel like 100% acceptance. No
Mm-hmm.
matter what I look like, what I do, how I act, I will always find people who say, cool, you know,
Yeah.
love that for you.
Just be yourself. Like, you
Just be
can.
yourself. You can
Yeah.
literally do you can do anything for work out here. The number of odd jobs that I've heard of, you can do anything for work.
Yeah.
You can do anything for a living. You can wear anything. Like there's like naked people, the homeless naked people out there, or the trendy people that are barely wearing anything. Like
Yeah.
you can just live. And I think that's what makes this place so special. Is
Yeah.
like, where else can you just, be like, hey, I want to fly one day and get a job as an aerialist? Like, I feel
Nowhere.
like nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like the only city that I've ever been to. And I've had other places that I like, but like,
Mm-hmm.
where else do you have a place where you can just be whoever?
Whoever, any day. You can
And
be
yeah, you could change
anyone.
who you are every day,
And no one would
literally.
think it's crazy. They'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Like,
Cool.
cool, great for you. We're gonna
Yeah.
vibe or we're not, but even if we don't, somebody will.
Exactly.
It's a special place, so I don't know. It makes
Yeah.
sense. Got any more questions?
Yeah. So this was like with your dad being Chinese and then you coming like from the Ukraine. How would you say like you guys' fathers and their cultural background? How has that impacted like the men that you kind of are attracted to now, being in LA for such a long time?
Oof.
And like with just
Mm.
Slavic men, I know they kind of are certain, uh, have a certain way that they kind of navigate in, and it's not necessarily, it kind of doesn't necessarily flow like with LA all
Mm-hmm.
the time. So how does that affect like the way you navigate things
Mm. It's really interesting. I've actually never dated a Ukrainian or Russian guy. So
Oh,
maybe
I
it
get
actually
that.
did the opposite and strayed me away from it.
Yeah.
My parents actually didn't have like a good relationship to look up to growing up. So I didn't really get to see what love looks like with two
Mm.
Slavic people. But I guess some things that I did take away from having like a Slavic father is like the traditional values, like, you know, being married before having children is a big
Mm.
thing in my book of morals
Yeah,
for myself.
that's a good one.
Other tradition values, just like, a man who's a gentleman, like opening doors, like doing all those things. In our Slavic culture, like a man always takes care of the woman. So I guess that's something I look for in men nowadays, is a man who's a provider.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Not essentially like with everything financially, but a man who like protects his family and makes sure
sure.
they're taken care of, you know.
Yeah. That's something I really admire about you actually, is you're
Yeah.
very good at setting the standard that a man should be a man
Yeah.
and be a provider and a protector,
Yeah.
while you can still protect and provide for yourself, though,
Yeah.
which I think is a really awesome thing.
Mhm.
So, um, yeah, I know. Like for me, I've never dated an Asian man, and I
Yeah.
actually I don't think I could.
Maybe this is a thing. You don't eat your own like
Yeah,
yeah.
like I mean, because I didn't have a good relationship with my dad growing up, so it's like
Yeah.
the thought, and a lot of that too. Now we're good, but a lot of it too was the culture,
Yeah.
and because he was treated the same way, so it's like, why would I want to marry someone in that culture who's gonna
Mhm.
treat me that way again? Like,
Ooh.
it doesn't make sense. So it's not like so much of a race thing as like, I'm not gonna go back to a certain thing that didn't work for me.
Yeah.
I have noticed though, and this is like a recent revelation I've had. My dad is like a very eccentric person. Like
Mhm.
he's a little odd. He's very different. Like, and you never know with him. You don't know. It's stressful, but it's always entertaining. You never know what he's gonna say. You never know, like, he's just a surprise, you know?
Keeps you on edge.
Exactly. Which I've noticed I do tend to, at this point in my life, I do tend to be attracted to men who are a little bit more interesting, you know?
Mhm.
I think women usually go for men who are very, like, stable, put together, predictable. I kind of like the excitement of like, what are they gonna do
He's not stable.
He's not stable, which isn't great. You know, it's not a great thing to look for. But I've thought about it. I'm like, this could be from my dad. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
So what you gonna do? You got anything else for us?
Yeah, I had. So I know you may have touched on this already, but do you ever make pieces of clothing just for yourself, like for fun? And is it therapeutic to make clothes or at all?
Oh, yes. Anytime I start a project, I like black out. Like I don't
Interesting.
check my phone. I don't even know what day it is. I'm just like working there playing music. I'm in my zone. It's really weird. Like even when I paint or do anything like digital designing, I lose track of time. Like I don't even know. I'm like
Wow.
locked in
Oh, that's
of what I'm
interesting.
doing. And so yeah, sometimes when I make a really cool piece, like I'm making an outfit for New York Fashion Week, it was supposed to be for my fashion show, but it
Uh-huh.
got postponed. And now I'm like, dang, I like this outfit so much. I want to keep it. I don't want to sell it.
Oh.
So I might, yeah, it's kind of hard. Sometimes I make a piece and I don't want to sell it because I want to keep it for myself.
Oh, how
And it just
funny.
means I might just have to make another one and keep
For
both
sure. Yeah,
or
yeah,
keep
there you
one,
go.
sell the other. But
Exactly.
yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah.
That makes sense. Like I feel like like when I do aerial or like I'm dancing burlesque, same thing
Mm-hmm.
happens where I black out, which is so
Yeah.
interesting because my mind is doing so much work. Like
Yes.
I'm flipping, I'm like aware of like not hitting a person in the face while like hitting a beat to the music, while like trying to take off a corset, while like putting fire down my throat. But like at the same time, it's almost like an out of body experience where it's like
Yes.
I'm not even here right now.
Yeah.
So, which is interesting. I never would have thought that it would be like that for like making clothing
Yeah.
also.
It's like, I think it's like when you're really passionate about something as a creative and you're doing it, it's almost like a high that you get.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And
Yeah.
it's almost how you know you were made to do something.
Exactly.
I don't think there's anything else in my life where I black out when I'm doing it,
Yeah.
you know. So which is interesting because I don't know
Hmm.
that I would necessarily like black out if I was making clothes,
Yeah.
you know?
I'd probably black out if I was trying to spin and not in a good way.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
I'd end up hospitalized.
No, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
Speaking of which, you gotta teach me
A
some
little
of your
lesson.
skills.
I
Yeah.
got to. We got to make that happen. We
Yeah.
will. We're neighbors. We're the neighbor girls.
I had another question that kind of came with my. So again, back to like kind of like the immigrant thing with you guys both having parents that are from another country. So like Alyssa, if you're ever at a gig or at a job or doing something and you are where you're working with like another Chinese girl or Asian girl,
Oh,
is there ever any sort of like, does it ever trigger you or like there can only be one? Or like,
There can
That's
only be
hilarious.
one.
or just like with you, like other some people, or just other people that you know, like Armenian, came from like Russia or something. Is there ever like, or someone who you know who speaks Russian? Is there ever like a vibe, like tension, or if positive or negative, or is anything like that?
Actually, I have a funny story. Yeah. So usually, a lot of people don't know I'm from Ukraine. I don't know if it's because like the work that I've got done or my accent, like that I don't have it. But
Yeah.
I will start talking to a girl at a party, and she thinks I'm American, right? And then she says something in Russian, and I'm like, "You're from Ukraine?" And she's like, "Yeah, how'd you know?" And I'm like, "I'm from Ukraine." She's like, "No way!" And then we become besties like that.
Oh, how funny.
Because usually there's like a cold, like Russian Slavic people are usually known to be kind of cold-shouldered
Yeah.
if you're not from their own like culture. And so it's always funny, like they're kind of like not mean to me, but kind of like cold shoulder to me when I'm talking to them. And as soon as they find out I'm from Ukraine, they're like, besties,
Oh
like
my
when are we
God.
getting dinner?
Oh,
It's
how
always, I don't know, does
cute.
that ever happen to you?
Yeah, it's funny. So the last podcast episode we did, we had Hana on, and she's also Asian American.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, I've noticed, like, actually, it's funny. Other Asian girls, I can't connect with. I actually feel really uncomfortable if they're like from China or like were raised like heavily Asian. I can't connect with because in Chinese culture, as a woman, they kind of keep you as like they treat you like a child for a long time.
Wow.
So when I went there, I met this girl who was my age. We were both 16, and I felt like I was 20. Like I was already like, then I was like doing like all these fundraisers for Africans or orphans in Africa and stuff. So I was already like very business minded, very on top. Like I was talking to adults and they respected me. And so I
Wow.
was very like a little adult. Whereas she was like, had her glasses and her teddy bear and was like, would like make like, like talk like in a high pitched voice like a child, like a kid
Yeah.
being like, oh no, and I could not connect with. I was like, I can't even talk to you really because like we're raised so differently.
Yeah.
But other Asian Americans, like Asians who are raised here or have half and half parents also, we connect instantly. And it always turns into like a therapy session because our culture is so intense and so different to American culture that we're always instantly unpacking like, yeah, my dad or my mom was so harsh on me. They like talked so hard to me, and like I've really had to like work through it to be like a healthy human.
The trauma dump.
Yeah, exactly. But it's almost like there's an instant camaraderie, like instant sisterhood, because there's not like a lot of Asian Americans. So it's like when you find another, like specifically half and half, like half white, half Asian. So when you find another, it's like a really special bond.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
yeah. Well, I think that's great timing to end there. Thank you so much for coming on. It was so awesome. And we'll see the rest of you next week for another episode. Bye. Yay.